Hey everyone, how's it going? Right now I am sitting in my room. It's like 1:45 in the morning. Well, I don't know. Not 1:45. Oh my god, that's how I know I'm tired. It's 12:41. Um, I wanted to actually talk about a new movie review I've been really wanting to do for a while, but I've been super busy. I have a whole little notebook of just movies that I've been watching and things that I really want to write about. Sorry, my nose is kind of swollen. I got it re-pierced the other day. So I really wanted to do a movie review on the movie called Maggie. If some of you haven't heard of it or seen it, I think it's an indie film. I'm not for sure. It didn't really come out in theaters, so it didn't really have that much like popularity or anything. It wasn't like a huge like Marvel movie or anything. Like it wasn't just swamped with popularity for, trailers. It wasn't swamped with sponsors for anything, which kind of at first I was kind of skeptical about watching it. Um and if some of you don't know what it's about, I'll explain here in a minute. It's directed by Henry Hobson, and it's starring Abigail Breslin and Arnold Schwarzengger. The movie is pretty much about a post-apocalyptic world and about a girl who ends up getting bit by a zombie. And it just shows how she turns and how she has to deal with it. It's a really great movie. It's probably one of my new, I wouldn't say favorites, but I highly recommend this film. And I'll go over why here in a little bit. If you're really wanting to watch it, I might give away a few spoilers. I only do that just because, I feel like the person needs to be informed a little bit on how the movie's going to be. But pretty much, Arnold Schwarzenegger's her father, and he's living out on this farm, taking care of his family, and she's kind of just wandering the cities. He's been out searching her for 2 weeks, and that's where the movie begins, is they only find her after the fact that they pretty much take her in because she has been bit. Either she was going to be killed by the government, or, she would have been left for dead. But they take her in, and he goes and picks her up, and it's pretty much just a story about her life before she turns into a zombie. And there's so many great things about this film. I'm sorry, I'm getting over being sick. I had tonsillitis for a few weeks, and now my nose is running after I got it pierced. So, sorry if I'm, sitting here clearing it out a little bit. I'm always fucking with my nose every time I do a video. Anyways, but there's the screenwrite to this movie was fantastic. I think the dialogue was really great, and something else that I really noticed was the chemistry between Abigail Breslin and Arnold Schwarzenegger were awesome. They had a lot of really good, solid, like, bonding moments that were really just emotional and kind of, sweet. But also at the same time, it was sad, which made this movie even more better because you almost have to think about it in the point of view of something else, like, well, what if that was actually something that could really happen? How would you be able to handle it, And one of the other great things was instead of this movie being about, the typical zombie, like, and then they just get shot up and die, they treated having being bit by a zombie as pretty much the same like a disease, like cancer. You only have so many weeks to live before you die and come back, which is also really great because I had never heard of this movie before renting it at the video store or watching it because I was just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I'll see what it's about. but it's actually really great. I think the cast is phenomenal. Um, I loved how all of throughout the whole movie they always have the same kind of filter. It's kind of just dingy and more gray and blue filming. Um, and there were certain scenes where it was like it had brighter moments, but it was still very, very dark. Um, I just I really loved the concept behind this movie, and I think that's why I loved it so much was because uh, the point of view wasn't about zombies being, like this terrible thing and like they're just monsters, and it's a disease. They're actually people, and there's one part in this movie, I think where they, spoiler alert, where they explained that, he said, I can't just kill my daughter. Like, she's consciously aware of what's going on with her body. Like, she understands, she's going through changes. And the cool thing, the special effects were so awesome with this movie. The makeup was amazing. The amount of, like, they show the transformation over time because it dwindles from, like, the very beginning of when she got bit to the very end. And it's so great to see, like, the makeup, how she reacts to certain things, what they explain, and how it's really affecting the life of not only her but her family. And I think that's what makes it so great. It's definitely, like I said, I highly recommend this film just because, you know, I think it's also really good too that it didn't get a lot of, you know, showtime on TV or anything, because that might have ruined it a little bit just because it would have been seen a lot. But I'm really glad that it didn't, because it was like one of those little treasures that you got to find. But it's so great. I love that they looked at being bit by a zombie as a medical issue instead of just, oh, let's just stab her in the head. You know, it was a great movie, and I loved the acting in it. Everything about this movie was really good. And I was really happy that they chose Abigail Breslin too, because, you know, not that she's, just a bad actor or anything, but you see her in a lot of typical innocent films. And one of the first films I actually seen her in where she wasn't like that was Zombieland, where she was, killing the zombies. But this movie was actually pretty dark for her. So I really enjoyed it. I think they had a great cast. The concept was great. The writing was great. I think it was really good. I highly recommend it. I would say it's probably an 8 out of 10 stars. So if you want to check it out, go to the video store, rent it, you do whatever. But I definitely think it's a A+ film. So, yep. Have a good night, guys. Bye.